Um, some very important considerations prior to coming to Qatar is, first of all, documentation. I know that HR was great in providing recommendations, but I'll just repeat them here. That get everything attested by Foreign Affairs. There is a lovely service that you have to pay for, but that can do everything for you because it all has to be attested in Ottawa. So when I say everything, I mean your educational qualifications, birth certificates, marriage certificates, um, any official documents that you may think is not going to be necessary. It might be necessary here, and it's much easier to do it when you're still in Canada. So I highly recommend that you pull everything out and just lay it out and see what it is that needs to be attested. The other thing to consider before coming here is for trailing spouses. So if the trailing spouse is a female, there's nothing to consider because she would be able to work immediately as soon as the RP is issued, the residence permit. However, if it's a male spouse, and I'm speaking from experience, for some reason there is a little bit of a stigma on hiring somebody sponsored by their wife. So even though it can in theory, officially, it can be transferred to an employer easily. To note, men in Qatar cannot work if they are sponsored by a spouse. They have to be sponsored directly by the employer. And so it's very important that if the male spouse is somebody who is considering working in Qatar, that they come as a visitor on a visitor visa, which can be renewed, I think, monthly. And I believe it can be renewed once while he's in Qatar, and then after 2 months he would have to just leave the country and come back, which is very common and easily arranged here. But that's an important consideration before coming to Qatar. Is this a place you're going to also work? And if it is, then your paperwork is going to be a little bit different. And the third thing is regarding schooling. So I mentioned in a previous clip that we are very happy with our school. It's absolutely fantastic. But school spots do fill up quickly if your children are younger than grade 5 or 6, just because of the demographic of expats here. So it's very important to apply to as many schools as possible before you come. And the good news is things always change. People's plans always change here. So just because somebody's class is full for your child does not mean you won't get a spot. Both my children got spots in the school, even though we were told there was no spots. And we found out about it well before the school year. We found out about it in May or June. I know that it can be stressful if you were told by a school, sorry, our waiting lists are closed or something like that. But just be a little bit persistent. It's not like Canada where everything is exactly as laid out. And eventually, you will get a spot in one of your schools, if not the top choice of your choice. So those are the 3 considerations before you actually land in Qatar to think about. Otherwise, I'm sure there's enough to think about once you get here. So that's it. That's all I've got.